Russia lost 74 planes, 86 helicopters and thousands of items of equipment. We know that they have more, but we will continue to defend. Ukraine doesn't surrender. The military don't surrender. The people don't surrender. Ukraine is fighting heroically.
Ukrainian President Zelensky with a sharp message to his people and the world. Ukraine does not surrender. Earlier today, he visited wounded soldiers, awarding them with medals for their courage. New reporting from Politico finds that in December, the White House blocked a plan to send special ops trainers to Ukraine as Russian troops amassed on its border, fearing that could escalate the tensions with Russia. With me now, one of the reporters on that piece, Betsy Woodruff-Swan. She is a national correspondent for Politico and an MSNBC contributor. Also with me, Lauren Gambino. She is the senior national reporter for The Guardian. Betsy, I want you to talk me through two things about this piece. One, the U.S.'s years-long effort to beef up military capabilities in Ukraine, and two, this decision to hold back trainers at a crucial moment.
It highlights just how incredibly complex the very end of 2021 was for the Biden administration. For many, many years, going back famously and infamously to the Trump administration, and even prior to that, the United States government as a policy has sought to invest in Ukraine's defensive capabilities. The extent to which the U.S. gives Ukraine lethal support, things like those Javelin missiles that we've seen destroying Russian tanks during this fight, things like Stinger missiles that attack planes, drones, other airborne threats that Ukraine faces. Those are things the U.S. has provided and that the U.S. has encouraged our NATO allies to provide. Also, for many years, the U.S. has provided kind of military 101 training in the western part of Ukraine to a wide host of Ukrainian military personnel. That center has been there for quite a long time. U.S. National Guard troops come in and out of it, and it's built really meaningful relationships. Hasn't just developed skills, but has built relationships between people in the U.S. military and people in Ukraine's military. This is a long-standing commitment, but the thorny issue has always been, how far does the U.S. go? What type of weaponry does the U.S. provide? And one thing that gets less media attention, because frankly, there's less that's public about it, is the way that these trainings work. What we've learned is that in December of 2021, senior U.S. military officials wanted to provide training, not military 101 training, but training specifically on unconventional warfare, irregular warfare, and guerrilla-style tactics to their Ukrainian counterparts. This was something, given the Russian military buildup, that senior U.S. military personnel thought would have the potential to be really helpful to Ukrainian fighters. But, and this gets to just the unenviable position the Biden administration was in late last year, the Biden team at the same time was trying to talk Russia off the ledge. U.S. diplomats were trying to persuade their Russian counterparts not to move forward with this invasion, not to start this war. And the White House had serious concerns that an influx of hundreds of U.S. special operators, some of the United States' most elite soldiers, would be seen by the Russians as provocative and would undermine the diplomatic efforts. In retrospect, of course, Russia refused to be swayed by U.S. diplomacy. And perhaps one little bit of irony here now is that given the war that's played out and given the incredible success the Ukrainian military has had with guerrilla warfare, if this goes the way that Ukraine hopes it goes, maybe in a couple of years, they'll be sending trainers to the United States.